Hey, what is up, YouTube world? We are back for more exclusive YouTube content. I hope you're having an awesome day. Please subscribe below to our YouTube and all of our other podcasting platforms. We greatly appreciate it. Steph Curry returned Thursday for the Golden State Warriors. After a long hiatus, the season is mostly lost at this point for them. So getting Steph Curry back is a fascinating situation because I think they wanted as much as they could to load manage him and let him sit out the year and try and get as high a draft pick as possible. Now, since the top three teams get the same lottery odds now in the NBA, when you're looking at 14-point-something% for all the top three teams now that they changed the lottery odds. The Warriors are likely to get one of those anyways. It's just a matter of which ping pong balls they get. So there is no real concern with bringing Steph Curry back because they're going to be in that bottom echelon no matter what. That's assuming that NBA lotteries are fair and not rigged. Just saying. But anyways, they're going to get a top draft pick. Steph Curry gets a chance to come back. He's going to have the greenest green light that has ever been issued by an NBA team at this point. So as Steph Curry kind of progresses back, I wanted to talk about the Warriors' offseason plans and getting into 2020 because the Warriors, as presently constructed, might be good enough when fully healthy to secure a top 4 or 5 seed. I mean, we were talking about it earlier this year where the Golden State Warriors, where would they fall in the echelon of teams in the NBA hierarchy? And they fell off just because of injuries. We knew it was going to happen to one team. It happened to the Lakers last year. You had about 9 or 10 playoff caliber teams, and it ended up being about 10, and then the Thunder showed up, which made it 11. It was a whole messy situation. So yeah, the Warriors were the team that fell off due to injuries. It was going to happen to someone. It kind of happened to the Spurs, but the Spurs are also just not really talented enough. But the Warriors are going to come back with a similar roster. Eric Paschall is better than we expected. Jordan Poole, better than we expected. Maybe Kai Bauman will be there. I don't know about him, but he might end up being there as part of the cast that comes back fully healthy as a backup. But it raises the question, what do they do with these assets now? Because they have 2 lottery picks in hand, probably high lottery picks, given that one of them is from Minnesota. They have 2 lottery picks. They have Wiggins, and they can also add other picks into the deal and do certain things to increase the deal. But one of those picks will hopefully be a top 1 or 2 pick for Warriors fans. They're hoping for that to kind of get a deal done. And if a deal that included Brandon Ingram, averaging 20-something points a game, like Andrew Wiggins, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, a top draft pick, and Josh Hart was enough to net Anthony Davis, the Warriors can legitimately acquire another superstar without giving up Clay, Steph, or Draymond. Now, if you wanted to swing a deal for Giannis, if you wanted to get that big fish, net that big fish, maybe it would have to take taking Chris Middleton's contract off the books. Maybe that's something the Bucks want. Maybe they want them to take that bad contract off the books, in which case you would see a deal for Wiggins, Draymond, both of their lottery picks, another draft pick. Maybe you throw in Jordan Poole or something like that. In that situation, if they were to acquire Giannis and take on the bad contract of Middleton, it's going to be a better deal than what they had with Draymond before. The Bucks would retool. I don't know if the Bucks want to just give up just Middleton give up Giannis and be like, okay, we can try and work with Middleton, even though it's pretty clear that Middleton is headed into his physical prime, but is also making a ton of money. It's not going to be easy to build a team around Middleton. If you're the Bucks, they're obviously not going to be a playoff contender without Giannis. So if you wanted to go get that big fish, either you could be looking at a team that has Steph, Clay, Giannis, and Draymond, or a team that has Steph, Clay, Middleton, and Giannis headed into next year. But what about other situations? What are other ways the Warriors could go? Say the Bucks win the championship in 2020, or say, Giannis wants to wait it out for free agency. Whatever it may be, we see a situation where they could try and acquire Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal would probably cost them Wiggins and one of their lottery picks, so they would still get a young player along with Bradley Beal. Maybe it would be 2 years from now, which wouldn't help them right now, but it's a plausible situation to look at, as Wiggins and that top draft pick could net them a player who's capable of capable of scoring 50 points a game on a given night. Could be a big time plus for them. Nikola Vucevic makes a ton of sense too if they want to add some big man ability down there. Maybe it would cost them Wiggins, but they would get Vucevic and some other pieces in there from Orlando. It would probably actually be Draymond that goes in that situation, but they could net another defensive prowess, someone like Terrence Ross. At the same time, could be a plausible situation. And LaMarcus Aldridge is another name that we're not really hearing. He could obviously be on the block this offseason, especially if DeRozan leaves and the Spurs want to tear it down. Maybe this is it for Popovich. They realize that they can't do very much. I think they're worse than the Kings now, just by the way. It's an interesting situation to be in if you're someone like Popovich. You're faced with that situation. What could an Aldridge deal look like? Well, you acquire Wiggins. Maybe you get that Minnesota pick, but if not, maybe you get Jordan Poole. Maybe you get Poole and Bauman and Kevon Looney. Something like that, but Wiggins would be the big fish that you net in exchange for LaMarcus Aldridge. And the Warriors would then have a team with Steph, Clay, the number 1, 2, 5 pick in the draft, whoever it's going to be. If they trade down, they can get more assets. That would be even cooler if you're the Warriors, if you want to try and swing a deal, is trade down and get more assets. If you can't get the big fish like Giannis, trade down and be like, hey, San Antonio, we can offer you all this plethora of assets. Boom, we still get the number 7 pick, and we can pull off, we can acquire a player that actually helps us in the short term. Because it's weird having a player like Anthony Edwards come into a team that's already championship ready. We saw what happened with Darko Milicic. Like when you get a young player on a championship ready team, it doesn't always pan out the way that you hope it would. And it's a sticky situation to be in at best, because you see the Warriors with that draft pick, they would rather get an established all-star than try and go forward with that asset. But imagine a team constructed with Steph, Clay, Draymond, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Cole Anthony coming off the bench. If they can get Anthony Edwards with the number 1 pick, that makes that much of a difference. That number 1 pick is going to be extremely coveted. Who they get with that pick, I don't know. Who they could acquire is a big question mark. But the Warriors have a lot of options, and we know that they're not going to stand pat this offseason. They want to add another star to kind of replace the Kevin Durant aspect that they left behind before, and they have the assets to do that, including 2 lottery picks, one of which could be the number 1 overall pick, and Andrew Wiggins to potentially match deals. It's why they acquired Wiggins over D'Angelo Russell, to A, shed a little bit of cap, and B, get that coveted lottery pick from the Minnesota Timberwolves in a season that was a wash, and a situation with D'Angelo Russell that wasn't really of long-term viability for them, at least in the way they saw it.